Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. I finally have the Cummins 4BT chassis in the shop. I was looking through some paperwork the other day. I've had this motor for a long time. If you follow along with my channel, you see I built the bell housing for it, and that was 6 years ago. And 6 years got behind me pretty quick. So today is the day before Christmas. And I worked for the past couple weeks rearranging the shop and stuff, and I wanted to get this in here. I work all year for this special time in December when the world quiets down and customers aren't barking at me, and I could get some of my own stuff done. And the main thing is I want to get the engine mounts built for this 4BT. That is a real dicey subject. Everybody has their own opinion on that. Studies have been done as far as vibration, and you know they call these things paint shakers and stuff, and whatever you think. But there is a way to get them settled down a little bit. And we're going to take a walk around this whole thing here. I'm going to show you what I've got done so far, and I'll show you the motor mounts I'm designing, and we'll talk about that a little deeper. So hang in there, and I'll give you some close-up views, and I'll show you what this thing actually weighs. I weighed this for you. And then I weighed the F-head and T98. That also could be in a 3B, and you can see the difference in the weight. And you could tell me that the world's going to end because this vehicle's going to crash and burn as soon as I take it out. Or you could hang in there, learn a few things for yourself, and see what it's all about. Okay guys, I'm making a little progress on the Cummins engine. Just trying to get that situated in the frame. Still working on the motor mounts, but I want to do the final adjustments once it's between the frame rails. Just going to ease this into place. I have a bunch of measurements off the original F-head, and I'm going to try and get this pretty close to where the F-head was sitting. We got to bring the chassis ahead a little bit. You can see, I think you can see that, how wide this engine is. So we got to be real careful with our center line. Still make sure our dry shafts are going to fit and everything. But I want to make sure I get this perfect, and then we can continue on with the center mounts. But we're making some progress. I'm trying to get everything kind of put together. I mean, you see how big this engine, transmission, transfer case, and PTO is. So just trying to save space here, get a little more space in the shop. But we'll get this situated in there, and I'll take you along and show you just what kind of mounts I make for this. Hopefully it will be a not too terrible shaking engine. You know the 4BTs are tough for that, but we'll get it figured out. So hang in there, and I'll show you what everything looks like. Okay guys, I'm getting the engine fit. You can see I have it hanging from the chain fall. I can't use anything hydraulic. It might leak down, and this might be sitting here for a little bit. This is the original grill off of the original CJ3B Welder Jeep. I'm going to use that again. Right there on the bench is, those are the original fenders. Now I wasn't sure if I was going to need to make extended fenders and extended hood, but I took the fan off the motor, and I think with an electric fan I can get in there with stock fenders and a stock hood. More on that later. Now I have this, I believe, at the height I want it. It's level, and I've been working on the hard side. For my engine, that's the hard side, the passenger side. And we're going to go set up around there, and I'll show you the configuration of this engine and why that's the difficult side to put an engine mount in. Okay guys, on my 4BT, I wanted a low mount turbo. You could also get the turbo way up here. I was worried about clearance issues with the turbo high. And so with my low turbo, I also wanted the low starter. Okay, so I have the starter in there, low. Sometimes the starter can be here, sometimes it can be way up here, sometimes it could be on the driver's side. Remember, the 4BT was in everything, from excavators to bobcats to you name it. It's an industrial engine, and we're putting them in vehicles. So you can get them in many different configurations. These were mounted when it was a generator or something. There was a big mount here, and there was also a mount in the front here. Now this front mount is way below the crank center line. And one of the easiest things you can do is to get your mount above the crank center line. Now you can see what I've come up with. Like I say, this is a very difficult side. There are mounts out there you can buy which kind of come over under your oil filter, and then they use a square rubber mount. I've looked at those mounts. If you put them in, you got to jack your engine or take the motor mount out to get your oil filter off. That's just stupid. This is the fluid filled mount. Again, there's a lot of talk about that. This is an Anchor brand, Lord brand, L-O-R-D. They make the best ones. They're very hard to get, and they're made for airplanes and stuff. So that one mount might run you $700. The Anchor ones are just as good for the application, and that's what's called a fluid filled mount, and they're much better than a standard rubber mount. So you could see I had to make some reliefs under here for the turbo, and this is all just tacked together right now. I got to fully weld it and brace it and everything, but there's plenty of clearance here. The mount is in. I have my frame mount. This will be welded to the frame. Again, it's just kind of sitting here, and I still have to brace it and put some stuff in it, and I'll show you them when they're all finished. The biggest problem when you do this mid mount here, everything's in the way. I want the starter to be serviceable. I want my oil filter to come out easy, and I have to get my oil drain from here to where this red rag is down in there. That's my turbo oil drain. So I just want to show you a little something about that real quick, and we'll get more into that in another video, but I'll show you what I'm planning for that. Okay guys, this is your original Cummins turbo drain, and it's flexible. You know, it's just a metal line. It's kind of flexible. It went from the turbo, came right through where this motor mount is, and then right in there. Obviously that's not going to work. This first thing I had to do was get that out of there. Has a special end here, and there's just a gasket right there. Let me show you what I made. Hang in there. This is now going to attach to the turbo. It's got an O-ring seal instead. Now I could attach a AN size 10 line directly to that, but I got this adapter piece. That gets you away from the heat of the turbo, so your line starts down here. I also have this guy, again, number 10, and that's going to go push right into that hole with O-rings. So connecting these two will be a piece of PTFE braided line. This can handle anything you want to do on a vehicle. It's just a drain line, but I like this much better than this corrugated one, having oil collect and build sludge down through there. So even if this wasn't in the way, I'd still switch to this AN line. And again, you can buy all the fittings you need. There's your top one, there's your bottom one, very high quality, and that's going to do the trick. I'm going to get the motor mount finished on this side and braced and everything, and then figure out how this line goes, and I'll show you the finished line in another video. Okay, driver's side is much easier. There's going to be a couple of triangular brackets here, and then a plate underneath, the fluid mount right there, and then just some 45-degree angle mounts off of the frame right here. This side is much easier to do. That's why I started with the other side. Again, I'm not going to finish this today, but I'll show it to you when it's finished. I'm going to have the factory compressor here, so this whole area is going to get taken up. I have the engine basically in the stock location as far as crank center line. Now if you look at this whole side of the engine, if you take back and look at this whole thing, you can see it's going to be quite a challenge to get our steering from here down to, you know, the axle, which is here. So we're going to have some U-joints and some real crazy funky stuff going on for the steering linkage. We've got our fuel lines, we've got the compressor going here, we've got the engine mount, we got our timing case cover here. So this is going to be tricky to get through here, but I'll show you that at a later date when that happens. Okay guys, this is basically what I have here. You can see the components here from the flywheel housing, the bell housing I made, the 465 transmission. I had to rotate the case down as much as I could to get the drive shaft in there. You see the clearance we have on the drive shaft. I don't know if I'm happy with that or not. I'm still playing around with that. I don't know. I'm unsure on that, but more on that later. We are a little high compared to the frame, but that's not a big deal because, like I said, I have the grill, I have the fenders, I have the hood, and I'm going to take the cowl and maybe part of the firewall, and I'm going to sit that on the frame next. And then from this point here, from the cowl, wherever I wind up with the cowl, everything from the back, that's all going to be custom made. I'm going to keep it looking 3B looking. It's going to be a much longer body. As you can see, I extended this frame. I'm going to give plenty of room for the driver, so you can get probably a 6'6" driver in this one and won't feel cramped. That's a big thing because at 6 feet it's kind of cramped in these things. So the whole entire body will be built. Like I said, I'm getting back into some sheet metal work, and this whole body will be built. It's a lot of work, and there's a lot to it, but I'll take you along and show you how each piece makes, how I upgrade it a little bit, and how I make the seams and everything, so this will be a long-lasting vehicle and it won't have the pitfalls of the original bodies that were water collectors and rusted out real quick. But first thing I want to do is get the engine in. This engine is level, is perfectly level. I'm not running this on a slant. You get the level there both ways, sideways, lengthwise. It's perfectly level. Again, my crank center line from the driver's frame rail, that's 11 inches to the center of the crank. That's just where this worked out. You could see, if you can get the camera down in there, I've got plenty of room over the differential. Right in this area here. That's why I had to keep the motor up so high to get this clearance. And then if you come back here, I have the same 11 inches to my center line off the frame. 11 inches to my center line here on the PTO. I did keep my clutch linkage. Okay, here's my clutch fork. I kept that above the frame. Again, the firewall is going to have to be modified so much. I don't want to cut the bell housing at all or anything like that. So it's just easier to have this above the frame. There's the PTO for the winch. That's also going to be kind of tricky, but we'll get that through to the front. And that's about all I got. I want to finish this other mount. Then I'm going to get working on the transmission transfer case mounts. And I want to have this sitting in here. And then when the new year starts, we'll get back on customer stuff. But I want to have this mounted and in here. And then we'll push it to the side and start making body panels for it. Okay guys, I know that was a lot to go around on engine mounts and things like that. If you're going to put engine mounts in a 4BT, do your research. I would suggest not going on any of the forums because they'll just they'll get you confused, and just stick with the facts. There's a well-known brand out there. I don't know, be careful with those. You're going to spend a bunch of money on those, not have good engine mounts, and not be able to change your oil filter, get your starter out, stuff like that. If you're doing a project this big, you probably have the skills and everything to make your own mounts. So do the research, get your mounts above the crank center line, put them in the center, and then pick up your transmission in the back, and you won't have a broken bell housing, you won't have any trouble. But again, there's so much bad information out there. I just want to put out some real information for you. 2026, we're gonna change things up a little bit. I've been talking with a bunch of people who are better YouTubers than me, I guess, more subscribers and whatnot, and a lot of them have told me it's better to do quick videos, no talking, put some crazy music in the background, and just show myself doing various projects. They'll be 3, 5, 8 minutes or so. So if I could get anybody's opinion on that, if you want videos where I explain things and talk about stuff, let me know. If you want quick videos with some music and no talking, let me know that. If you have learned stuff from me and you like my way of doing things, just also put a comment in there and let me know. I'm just trying to figure out which way to go for 2026. There's going to be like I say, a lot of sheet metal building here. This is an entire body that needs to be built. I don't know anybody out there doing that kind of stuff, so I feel like I'm all alone out there. But if you want to see it, do you want to see it with music, or do you want to see it with explanations? That's all I'm asking. So put a comment below. And like I say, it's the day before Christmas, so just want to wish all my viewers and their families and friends and stuff a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, or whatever works for you. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you can. Like I say, I'm always trying to grow the channel, and I think that's all I have for you today on the 4BT Willys CJ3B Welder Jeep. So, hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in 2026.